League has a lot of champions, and I'm gonna roast them based on their official lore. No need to beat around the bush, so let's begin. Your entire plan is to off yourself in the most convoluted way possible. And I don't even entirely think you're capable of it, considering that you got upstaged in your own event by someone's edgy OC. It took you literally hundreds of years to even consider searching beyond the shores of Ionia for some trace of your missing people. And the answers you sought were really just a half-assed way to tie you into a storyline that otherwise has nothing to do with you. You're actually kind of a cool character, but literally the only thing anyone seems to know about you in lore is the fact that you really like smoke bombs. So, maybe consider expanding your arsenal. Your entire character arc began and ended in a single event as a deus ex machina with poorly defined rules. Honestly, your biggest mistake was not expecting that Noxus wouldn't take no for an answer when you knew these people were scumbags. You are a horrible mother, a terrible general, and an incompetent strategist messing around with forces you barely understand. It's kind of impossible to figure out what to even say about you, given that nobody in universe or out of it has any clue what the hell your actual backstory is supposed to be. For the Freljord's supposed guardian deity, you don't seem to be doing much about the Lovecraftian horrors threatening to consume it, but I guess turning Yetis into marketable plushies is a much higher priority. I don't think I could roast you any harder than you roasted your entire family. You're basically a discount aspect of the moon who was probably only chosen because Diana is too busy angsting over her relationship issues to actually do her job. Your whole plan basically revolves around gaslighting an entire nation, and as noble as your goals are, it is only a matter of time before that approach comes back to bite you. You are, canonically, more powerful and more knowledgeable about magic than anyone else on the roster, and you still somehow got duped by a bunch of humans that were probably barely even out of their own Stone Age. So you basically broke into an old hermit's home and refused to leave until he agreed to be your friend and gave you information. You brought about the downfall of your own empire because you couldn't be bothered to trust your own best friend with the details of your plan, and you appear to have learned absolutely nothing from this screw-up. You've been roaming Runeterra for centuries, and you appear to have done basically nothing to stop the myriad of cosmic imbalances cropping up, despite your job description. You have the collective knowledge of one city, and you think you know everything there is to know about Runeterra. For such a friendly and well-meaning robot, a lot of your voice lines sure are sinister. Dude, I know you had a crappy childhood, but setting literally everything on fire, including yourself, is not a healthy coping mechanism. Listen, I like you, but you might actually be the closest thing League has to a Gary Stu. Oh, just what we needed. Another hyperactive murder teen on the roster. You spent your entire career hunting someone who was literally right in front of you and not even trying all that hard to hide her identity. The difference between a butcher and a surgeon is that one saves lives while the other ends them, and I think we all know which category you fall under. You reignited a civil war between ancient demigods, and you're seriously still trying to throw your lot in with Noxus? You set the bar for how scary the Void could be, which makes it all the sadder that you've fallen into irrelevance and obscurity. You're honestly more of a joke than a character, and not a particularly funny one. The fact that you genuinely believe Noxus has a chance in hell of conquering Runeterra after the nonsense you've seen is equal parts sad and hilarious. Your mission is supposed to be saving and oppressed people, but the only stories anyone ever wants to tell with you revolve around pining over your ex. Your entire character is tonal whiplash personified. Dude, your whole career is chucking axes at war prisoners, and yet somehow you think you're hot shit. You've basically invented a device that lets you save scum reality, and anyone who's ever played Undertale can tell you how badly that can turn out. You achieved immortality at the cost of being eternally bound to the whims of both an ancient omnipresent sorceress and a giant hungry spider monster. So, was it really worth it? So you could have basically made yourself look like anything you want, and you chose a totally not suspicious blue-skinned woman with giant spiky tendrils to seduce people with. I don't think any map could lead you out of the maze of parental issues you lost yourself in. So you're an ancient terror as old as time itself, and you let yourself get duped by an obnoxious little girl with rainbow hair? You might actually find a worthy opponent if you stepped foot onto an actual battlefield instead of facing random schmucks in one-on-one duels. You're single-handedly responsible for dozens of people dying at sea, and yet you treat it all as a prank, wondering why people hate you all the while. And that concludes part 1. If this video does well enough, I may consider doing a part 2 in the future. Till then, stay bright.